Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome to round 2 of the Esports Masters League. This, of course, is the Premier Division, and hopefully you've just come from what sounded like a very eventful final few laps in League 1. But we're here for the Premier Division, where 10 teams will go face-to-face, head-to-head, here in the streets of the newest circuit, one of the newest circuits on the calendar, the Vietnamese Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box is the fantastic, the wonderful, the gets his predictions almost right, the lovely Mr. James Head. James, how are you tonight?
Doing really well, Kieran. How's yourself?
I'm doing very well. Looking forward to another great night of racing. And of course, if you missed the first round last time out, we can take you through the top 3. It was Javi Vera for S2V who managed to get the first win, of course, as a driver, with Johan and Bjorn rounding out that top 3. What that meant then for the championship standings, though, although one of the S2V drivers won the race, the only problem was that was the only S2V driver to finish the race. So they are actually further down the order than you would expect. But you can see the 10 teams here. TTG are leading the way on 33 points. F1 Friends are there in second place on 28. S2V are there in third place with 25. They appear as a Somvic Esports on the table there, but I believe they have had a slight bit of a name change since the last time we met. They're now Customs Exilium, so this time around, so that's how you're seeing them there. But from what the first round taught us, James, is that this is a very tight pack here, and obviously you can see through the standings, especially through the top down through the midfield, it's going to be very close throughout this season.
I think we've got, out of the 9 teams that scored points, 20 points separating the teams, all 9 of which who scored points out on track tonight. So it is quite unpredictable, I think. Add into that the unpredictability of Vietnam, you might have a match made in hell rather than heaven.
And of course, if you're looking at those point scoring systems and thinking, how can it be like that after one round? Well, we do run an alternate point scoring system where first place gets 25 points, second place gets 22, third place gets 20, fourth place 18, fifth place gets 16, and then they go down in 1 point intervals until we get to 20th place, where you get to score that 1 point. There's no bonus point for fastest lap of the race. These are the points, and if you get to the checkered flag in that position, you will score those points for your team. And we've already seen, James, already this season, we had an S2V driver win the race, but the other driver didn't finish, didn't see the checkered flag. That team's currently in third place. you can start to see how important it is to work together to get to those checkered flag and make sure you get those finishes on board.
Consistency is key. It's as simple as that. And obviously, as you say, Javi Vero taking race 1 last time out in Australia in the EML, Johan second, Bjorn in third. They've got to rely on Jorpa and Oscar Marino. Now, we don't know about Oscar Marino, but Jorpa was the one that DNF'd actually in Australia. He'll be hoping for a better result for the team. But I think it is all up for grabs in the second round. I mean, we've got eight more after this one. It's going to be really fascinating to find out who's going to come out on top.
It is indeed, and we should probably take you through what's going to happen with the lineups here tonight, and we'll get them on your screen right about now. So we can see TTG Esports have gone for Slayer and Coutinho with Vettel as a reserve. Not often you can say that in your career. Amazing Hour and Bjorn line up for Leonis. For Mentalism, we have Louis and Kaz with Cedric there as the reserve driver. For FRL, we have Chapelele and Young Power with Ginger as the reserve driver. For Team Norway Racing, it's Thomas and Jonas with the Z3 waiting in the wings just in case. GTZ Bulls, we've got Chris Rock and Dantas. At CPI, we've got Bullet Boy and Connor with Lewis in the reserves. They'll be hoping to get off the mark in this season. S2V have gone for Jorpa and Oscar Marino. Customs Exilium have gone for Adair and Mickey with Homaba in the reserves. And F1 Friends have gone for Gongora and Ruben as their lineup with Castor waiting in the wings just in case. Now, of course, we have had a history where if we have Esports Mini League, if we have the Esports Masters League going through this time around, there can be very last minute changes. So although that's one of the most up-to-date versions you have of the team order and the team ranking and who each team is going to go and throw out, you just never know who could turn up in those racing seats. So we just have to get in there and see what happens when we get into it. But looking at the lineup, James, any particular names to you that spring to mind of having a good performance?
I think I said S2V were the strongest team out of Australia, and that might be the case, but they're third in the standings. They're going to rely, obviously, on Jorpa and Oscar Marino to try and bring home the bacon and bring home the points for the guys out on track. But it's really intriguing to see how the TTG Esports team get on. Slayer and Coutinho, brand new team lineup for here for round 2 in Vietnam. Going to be quite interesting. Just to bring you up to date about the driver changes as well, we've got, I think, 3 reserves in. Ginger in for FRL, we've got Lewis in for CPI, and Castro in for F1 Friends.
Absolutely, and hello to everybody in the chat there. Welcome along. I'm seeing some great people in the chat there. Good to have you back. Good to have you back for round number 2. Don't forget as well, if you do want to see some merch, you can now do that. All of the information will be down in the description below, but they are provided by our good friends there at TTML Esports. You'll be able to get the likes of a hat, shirt, maybe even a decal for your PS4, maybe even for your PS5. I hear... Just a rumour. I hear the white PS5 and the red decal sounds really good. I just heard it on the grapevine. That's all. I'm just reporting what I hear. But
trying to. I was going to say trying to follow the Sunderland home kit, I think.
Oh well, there you go. You see. That's amazing, James. But what we can say is, James, we use the multiplayer cards for this one, which means we get the separate liveries, we get the individual liveries on each team. Not only that as well, but the multiplayer car handles differently. It feels different from the baseline car you get if you were to drive a Mercedes, Ferrari, etc.
Yeah, I think it is quite different, obviously, with it being a standard car. Essentially, think of these guys being quite equal in terms of pace and in terms of setup out on track. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see who really comes out on top. And remember, we've got that short 18-minute qualifying session, not the one shot like you've been used to in EML. That 50% race distance as well. Think of it as a normal league racing format for these guys. 10 teams with 2 drivers in each team, 20 drivers out on track. I think we're about to get underway by the looks of it.
I think so. And just to take you through very quickly at a circuit that is brand new on the game, it's brand new on the Formula 1 calendar, at least it would have been if a certain thing didn't happen. I can't put my finger on what happened, James, but it shook everything up, and hopefully we'll be getting back on track very soon. I do keep my fingers crossed. Make sure as well you're staying safe out there and following your relevant government guidelines on how to beat this pesky virus. It's causing all this strife and woe. Hopefully we can get on the other side of it very soon indeed. But with your Esports Masters League Season 1, round number 2 at the Vietnamese Grand Prix, from the looks of it, James, it looks very, very power heavy, but you've also got some places where you do need that aero.
You do need that aero, and honestly, Vietnam is one of those tracks where you can't really deceive from the eye from this track. It's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how these guys get out on track. We are just moments away from starting, so I will hand over to Kieran for the formal introduction.
Well, the formal is a bit of an overstatement, I think, there, James. But yes, we will be having this intro very, very shortly as we now make our way and we ourselves now load into the lobby to bring us the short qualifying for the Vietnamese Grand Prix for the second round of Esports Masters League. And whilst we're loading in, ready for that qualifying session, we might as well get things underway. So here we go then for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Vietnam. I'm sure we've all been here before around this street circuit here at the Vietnamese Grand Prix in Hanoi for the second round of Esports Masters League. And of course we saw some great racing out last time in Australia. We'll be hoping for more of the same here at Hanoi. And it's a bit of an awkward circuit. You could say it's very narrow, but there's lots of high speed action to be had and plenty of heavy braking zones to try and get those overtakes done. Expect then the back straight down towards the hairpins here to be overtaking opportunities. And as you can see here, just 5.6 kilometers is this circuit, 23 turns, one of the most the highest corner ratios on the calendar, and not many degradation, not many elevation changes on the track whatsoever. It's relatively flat, and as we see the stadium there, that's part of the track. Don't believe me? You'll see it in a few moments time. But here we are then in qualifying. Unfortunately, Ginger has just dropped out of the session. Hopefully he'll be rejoining us very, very shortly. But 20 drivers, 10 teams, all ready to do battle here at Vietnam.
Going to be really intriguing to find out. We have got one of the pink cars that looks like out in front now. I'm not sure what team that might be. I have a feeling it's one of the SUV cars, and it is. It's Oscar Marino who is out first. Look at that for a livery. That is really nice. Really, that brings in the team's colours quite nicely indeed.
It does, it really does, as he now makes his way down towards this bit of a loop section. You go back on yourself here as you just try and make your way through. Very easy to cut that curb then on the left hand side. And of course with the new circuit, James, there's new facts to find out about it. There's a new way of seeing how everything goes on. I think, to be honest with you, James, this is at least my first time here commentating at Vietnam. So what can we expect then, James, in terms of racing action?
We can expect quite a lot, and I think, honestly, we're going to see quite a bit of Constantino effect. If everyone gets through the first opening turns nicely out on track as Ginger leaves the session again, we will see a bit of a Constantino effect, and we will see plenty of overtaking. I've commentated around here for Division 2 and Division 5 before for Vietnam. Of course, Division 1 didn't get the go-ahead because of PSN issues. That race not going to be run in TTML, but here in EML, Vietnam going to be really intriguing to find out. Expect qualifying to be quite tight as well.
Well, we're seeing here as hopefully we can get Ginger back into this session very, very soon. He has joined back, but he's clearly having some issues out there. But we're on board then with Oscar Marino as he's going to take us on a flying lap around the Vietnamese Grand Prix here in Hanoi. Around this final corner, that wall on the right-hand side comes up very, very sharply indeed as you try and stick as close as you possibly can to it. Braking hard now into turn number 1. Quickly down to second gear, back up to third, and big loss of the back end there. I think Marino's had to back out of that lap, but we'll still stay on board with him here as he now tries to make his way through. He'll now eventually make his way down the back straight and onwards towards that loop section we are going to see very, very shortly. But it's going to be one of those sections here where you need to get the brakes done. You need to get this perfect line through. Obviously, Marino's just missing out the curves because he's got that invalidation of a lap there, so he'll be coming back to the pit lane. And unfortunately, James, we've got to do that all over again and find another driver we can ride on board with. But I don't know who. I'm spoiled for choice.
Amazing Hour was just coming onto the straight. He's got Bjorn just running in front of him, so the two LR guys are having a bit of a toll fest going down. We see that normally, well, I normally see that in League of Europe with Cantera and June, of course, the two Spaniards who are very well known. Amazing Hour, an Australian here tonight for LR, coming through the middle sector. 53, I thought that was the middle sector split. As Chonas has actually crashed, coming out of turn 12.
Yes, he has. Meanwhile, Giannis here is starting his lap then for TNR as he now makes his way in towards turn 1. And of course here it's a circuit you can really spread yourselves out on, but at the crucial moments down the straights you do not want to be caught up as you head in towards the braking zones. Looks like the two CGT cars are working together here with a little bit of tow. Adair is looking like he's trying to get a little bit of tow off of Mickey, and Mickey dives out of the way just before the braking zone so that Adair can really use the best out of that top end. Amazing how then 33.2 puts himself now at the top of the table and puts Leonis in that prime position for that provisional pole. But of course, still a long way in this session to go. We're going to ride on board with Adair here as he now makes his way through this high-speed S section. Patience is key through here. You've got to let the aero do the work, but also at the same time, you've got to make sure that you don't overcook it. Slayer puts himself at the top of the table now, 32.8, riding aboard Adair now as he makes his way through the final corner and onwards now towards this start-finish straight. Where can he go? Front row of the grid, 33 flat then from the CGT car as Kaz now puts himself up to third place for Team Mentalism. Amazing Al then drops to fourth place, but now he's doing his best as a teammate to try and now get himself in front of his teammate to get that toe down that start finish straight. That's for his teammate there, who I'm trying to find through the order. Eventually I will. It will be for Bjorn there as he now makes his way in towards that tight left-hander of turn 12. And unfortunately though for Bjorn, his lap time's invalidated, so it's not going to count. So all that great bit for being a good teammate unfortunately isn't going to go to plan.
Yeah, I was running on board with Yorko actually on his lap. He just clipped the wall coming out of turn 17, I think, through the S section. Really clouted the wall quite hard, but a 33.1 puts him into 5th. And, as I warned, quite a close qualifying until for the top 8, separated by less than 8 tenths of a second out on track. Louis on top, Slayer 2nd, and Adair in 3rd. Yeah,
we're just going to see if there's many more drivers on a lap time here. Is Mickey on one, I wonder? He is in mode 2, ERS mode, so he's definitely pushing as hard as he can here as he now makes his way down in towards that tight section of 13, and then you've got 14, 15, 16, 17. The corners come at you faster than you can count them, that's for sure. And this high-speed aero section, if you're following another car, can be a bit of an awkward stage here because you're right in that dirty air when you need that aero the most.
Yeah, and I think you need the most aero coming out of the final 2 corners. Mickey goes 4th, just actually behind his teammates, so not a bad lap there at all. Really gained the time. It was a 10th down actually on Yorpa coming through the middle sector, so gained the time and it goes 4th. And with only 7 minutes gone, we've had plenty of laps in already. I think we've got Bjorn on a lap as well. He's actually invalid coming down the straight. I think he'll make his way back into the pit lane. Castro is coming, I think, has just actually had a moment, if I'm not mistaken, and has run wide through turn 13. Has got left side end plate damage, so that'll be him coming into the pits. It will indeed, and of course that is for the Friends Cup team. He's one of the reserve drivers, and he has stayed out there, so he's now making his way through. On my screen, he hasn't got any damage, James, so that's my eyesight then. Well, there is there's end plate damage there on the right-hand side, just on the exit of turn 23. And of course, it's very, very easy to get that one wrong. Just get too up close and personal with the wall. But yeah, Castro really did look like he was struggling for grip going through that final couple of corners. But from the looks of it, his front wing's still intact there. Yeah, he's on a set of mediums, actually, which is quite interesting. He might be going for the alternate strategy. The alternate strategy actually works quite well. However, I would expect the guys to probably go for 2-stop strategy. Maybe softs to hards if it's a safety car, but we'll have to see how everyone gets on. Oscar Marino was on a lap, the other STV man. He is out on track and he's going toward the middle sector split. And I think, honestly, he is well up there with this middle sector split. 105.4 is the quickest that I've seen through the middle sector. He's going to be going in and around Slayer Louis sort of area, possibly to the top spot. Well, let's see now as he now charges through then, just chucking that car into every single corner through this final sector and really hoping that it does stick. He now makes his way into 22 and onwards now towards turn 23, round that final corner and onwards now towards that start finish line, and it's good enough for third place. 32.9 then for Marino in the S2V car. Yeah, 200s ahead of Ades. Schiaparelli is coming out the final corner. He's run out of ERS, but he's running a nice lap here across the line. Goes 12th, so he puts him up into 12th position. Bjorn for LR is the only driver not to set a time so far out on track. I think Castro was also improving on his time, but he's not going to improve his position, 36.6. Clearly struggling, the FFC man out on track. But it's Louis out on top, Slay second, Oscar Marino third, and we're only halfway through qualifying, and it looks like most of the guys are going to go onto their second runs.
Yeah, Slayer's out there on an outlap right now. Of course, TTG are leading the way in the standings. And right now, they've got a man in second place up the order. And then they've got Coutinho in 9th place. So a little bit spread out. But you are expecting things like that. It's consistency that's the key thing. You've got to make sure both drivers see the checker flag. That's your best chance of scoring the best amount of points possible. We're on board now with the mentalism car of Kaz, as he now makes his way in through one of the first long straights here on the exit of 5, and then onwards now towards 6 and 7 as you now make your way all the way through, and eventually he'll be braking hard there. Now you've got to clip that both curbs really. You can really take full advantage of them because the stewards are quite lenient going through that section as you now make your way through turn 9, and now there you can see he's very conveniently and almost strategically planned to come across his teammate there on the back straight, and perfect timing there from Louis and Kaz. They know exactly what they're doing then, and as you can see, so effective as we now break down towards turn 12, steering through, just trying to keep that back end in check on the exit of turn 12, and now we make our way in through turn 13, this sharp braking zone here. He did go purple through sector 2 there, bit of a lock-up, slightly missed the apex through 13 there, but he'll now press on, push on, as he now tries to find the optimum line through each of these S-section corners. They seem like they'll never end, these S-section corners. It goes on longer than Cota's first sector, but we now make our way in towards turn 22. Big lock-up there from Kaz. He misses the apex, spins up the rear tyres as well, and now making his way around turn 23 and onwards towards that start-finish line. Is it going to be an improvement? It is 2/10 down, not surprisingly, with that little bit of an off-pace final 2 corners there.
Yeah, it's a shame, I think, honestly, from Kaz's perspective. He looked quite good until that half spin coming out of turn 20. Amazing Hour has just gone second, 400th of a second off Louis, and Adair was 2/10 up, but he's taken the escape road down in towards turn 12, so he is now not on a lap and will probably come out into the pit lane, I would imagine. Just trying to flick on board with anybody that's on a lap. Coutinho 2/10 up through the middle sector. See what he can do as Adair gets out of the way. Fly through this S section through turn 19, then into 20 and 21. A little bit hesitant on the power actually coming through here for Coutinho. And now comes around the final couple of corners out on track. The first one to actually catch the apex that I've been on board with as well. The German now comes through the final corner. Of course, regular TTML Division 1 driver, and he didn't improve his lap time there, but he goes on the 100th of a second off Yorpa for 10th position.
Yeah, and really nicely done there to take all that lap time out, and unfortunately it's not reflected on the position he's now in, so he stays in that 10th place. Meanwhile, Louis has just gone fastest. He's gone purple through sector 2. Let's ride on board with Louis then as he tackles sector 3 here, flying all the way through, and of course they're looking to try and have that same strategy mentalism here. Both drivers are out there sharing that same bit of track. Louis will set the lap time first. He gets 22, spot on there as he now flies his way through turn 23 and onwards. Beautiful. Now taps the wall on the right hand side, but no matter, it's still a purple lap time. 32.7 then from Louis as he sets another pole position lap time. But Slayer's
just responded 32.5, and that's how you respond to lap by Louis. Slayer goes 2/10 quicker ahead of Louis.
Well, strap yourselves in for this qualifying session, because something tells me we're going to be swapping lap times left, right and centre as we see there Mickey challenging and tackling turns 11 and 12 as he now makes his way through now for the Customs Exilium team. He's gone purple through sector 2 now, 105.2, that's 3/10 quicker than his own personal best time, so he's now looking at a high 32. That's a chance of front row of the grid. Might not be pole position at this moment in time according to the Delta. Little bit wide there, letting the car do too much talking there, going through into 20 But a little bit of lock up now into 22. Now coming around the final corner through turn 23 and onwards towards that start-finish line. 33.0. It is an improvement. It does put him ahead of his teammate, though.
0.003 of a second ahead of his teammate as well. So very close between the two CGT cars. And actually, just to pick up on the point, if you are one of those fat geeks that I am, top 6 teams are actually, top 6 drivers I should say, are actually from 6 different teams as well.
Well, there you go. There you go. You can see TTG in Slayer represented there. Mentalism represented by Louis. Leonis represented by Amazing Hour. CPI, I should say, represented by Connor. S2V represented by Oscar Marino, and then you've got, of course, Customs Exilium represented by Mickey. The first time it repeats is Custom Exilium again, who looks like they're trying to lock out a row on the grid. Unfortunately, though, it's 6th and 7th, so that's not on the same row on the grid. Oscar Marino, well, we've got to watch out for him. Is he on a flying lap? Something tells me that he is. Now making his way through 22, and now onwards towards 23. A little bit of a twitch through the exit of 22, now on towards the start-finish straight. P2 then for Marino, 32.6, and all of these drivers are just exchanging lap times left, right and centre. The difference though between the two S2V cars right now is 0.6 of a second, so Yorpa here is going to have to try and pull this lap time out of the bag. As you can see there, they do run wide on the exit of turn 2 there, but it's a legitimate line, and Yorpa gets a little bit too greedy with the curb going through in towards turn 4, and unfortunately that's his lap time invalidated. Yeah, if you look on the outside of turn 2 there, on the exit of turn 2, entry into 3, whichever one you like, whichever one takes your fancy, you'll see drivers run wide there because there's a certain point where you can run wide there without getting penalised. So if it's fair game on this one, then it's fair game with the stewards, I think, and there's not really a lot you can do to police that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen actually in Division 2 of TTML this season, drivers run wide coming through turn 2, and then they pick up a 3-second time penalty coming through turn 3, and then now through turn 4. So they've got to be really they've got to be really careful on the track limits out on track. Kaz, by the way, has just started off on a lap, and he's coming down now towards turn 1. He's going to be one of the first to actually set another lap in by the looks. He now comes through turn 2, of course, part of Team Mentalism, and his teammate Louis up in 3rd position. He comes now through towards the end of the first sector, where I'll hand over to Mr. McGinley, and he now comes down the straight. This first long straight really out on track here tonight. Expect to be around the 25.2 mark, and he is, so 25.2 through the first sector. Now he can really attack through 6 and 7, and then through the roundabout at turn 8.
Yep, through the roundabout at turn 8, then onto that quick right-hander of turn 9, and there you can see who's that up ahead. Well, they've planned this perfectly once again. It is Louis who will give Kaz a little bit of a tow, but can Kaz take full advantage of this one this time around? Louis will move to the left-hand side as late as he possibly can, and now makes his way down towards that heavy breaker zone of turn 11. Then it's the quick left-hander here of turn 12 to get yourself back underway. Watch out for the wheel spin on the X there. It can really catch you out if you're not careful. Now coming towards turn 13, and you can see there we've only got around 80 seconds on the clock. Qualifying has flown by. No wonder we're going to be on the edge of our seats here, because we are looking for an intense race all the way through. What this track lacks in overtaking opportunities, it really makes up for these demanding corners and these demanding sectors. You do not get a rest unless you're going down that long back straight, and even then there's a left-hand turn, there's a right-hand turn in it. Kaz meanwhile comes towards the line and sets a 32.8, which now puts him into P5, so he's now onto the 3rd row of the grid.
Yeah, good lap time by Kaz. Really actually picked up the time in the final sector, so really picked it up there. Schiaparelli is the one I'm going to draw my attention to, because he's got a lot better pace than that, than what he's showing. And that's now proven. 0.7 of a second up, coming through the middle sector. If he finds another at least 4 or 5 tenths of a sector, he's going to be in and around Oscar Marino Louis sort of area. Mickey gets out of the way to the left-hand side. Schiaparelli now through 20 and 21. We will see over the improvements as well during the course, I'm sure. Yorpa has retired from the session, so both S2V cars are out in the pit lane. Schiaparelli now around the final corner. Is he going to put it all on the line through the final corner? Goes to the line. He only goes 11th in the end. So, yeah, didn't find the improvement as I was expecting.
Amazing Hour, though, goes up to P2 as the checker flag now falls. All eyes now are on Slayer, because can he find himself that extra bit of gusto to get himself up and further clear of the table. Louis has invalidated his lap time. He's not going to be able to post a response. Kaz, I think, has already completed his lap, so he won't post a response either. Is this going to be a case of personal pride here for Slayer? Oh, he gets a big whack of the wall there on the entrance of turn 22. He might have just gotten away with it, though, through 23. Hits the wall again. Something tells me, well, he's got even quicker. 32.4 with the several clouds of the wall. Well, well, well. It just shows you here that if you take no regard with your front wing, you can set a quicker lap time. It's a 32.4 then from Slayer. Amazing Hour in second place right now. Louis is not on a lap. Kaz not on a lap. Connor, meanwhile, is on a lap for CPI. He's currently in 6th place as he's looking to try and get as clean of a line as possible now. Into turn 22. Now through the final corner. You can chuck this car in. A little bit of a lift off as you enter. And now on towards that start-finish straight. It's an improvement there for Connor. P5 now for that CPI car. And we're just having a look around seeing if there's anybody else on a flying lap. Ginger, I think, is on a flying lap. We've got a spinner there in Castro, who is spun all around there at through the high-speed section, but he's down in 19th place. Bjorn, meanwhile, hasn't set a lap time whatsoever, and he's now trying to make his way through and in through the final quarter now. Can Ginger improve? No, he can't. Bjorn, meanwhile, sets his one and only lap time in the session and goes 15th fastest in this session. But that is qualifying over and done with, and Slayer has put it on pole position for the Vietnamese Grand Prix here in Esports Masters League. Amazing Hour rounds out the front row. And my goodness, what a race we're going to be in for, James.
Yeah, 132.4 from Slayer is in and around the Division 2 pole position lap time, I believe, as well. So that is quite a that is a really good lap from the TTG, man. Amazing Hour second, Oscar Marino in third, only 300th of a second off. I would have liked to see, actually, further down the field, the likes of Lewis get into contention as well, down in 12th position. But it's all about the race now. These guys have now got to focus mentally and physically on this race. It is a technically demanding track. Let's see how these guys get on as we approach the end of qualifying. We're just waiting on Adair to retire.
Yep, and that's all we're waiting for. Let us know in the chat then, who are you supporting here tonight? Who do you think could win this race? Of course, we can talk about the drivers all day and every day, but at the end of the day, it is a team championship only, so you've really got to be focusing on where your teammate is and how you can really maximise the points you score. But meanwhile then, we'll take you through the qualifying results here for the second round of Esports Mini League. It is Slayer who puts it on pole position. Amazing Hour rounds out the front row. Oscar Marino and Louis on row 2. Connor and Kaz on row 3. Mickey and Adair on row 4. Yorpa and Coutinho on row 5. Shapalele and Lewis on row 6. Thomas and Ginger on row 7. Bjorn and Gongora on row 8, Chris Rock and Yonis on row 9, and Dantas and Castro round out the 10th row of this grid, with, interesting, Castro only setting his fastest lap time on a set of the medium tyres. I have to say, though, top 15 covered by just over 1 second. Hold on to your hats. This is going to be a good one.
I did warn you that qualifying was going to be tight.
I should have believed you, James. I should have believed you. By the way, if you are enjoying tonight's action so far, don't forget you can subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, because if there's a weekday happening, then there's a race happening too. So make sure you go and check out all of the other races as they all unfold. We've got TT Masters League 1 on a Tuesday night. We've also got CWC on a Monday night as well. Of course, you're here with us tonight for Wednesdays for Esports Masters League. But of course, that's so good it only comes around once a month. You really do have to be patient and wait for all this goodness and action here between these 10 teams. And of course, we've got the TT Masters League, League 2 through 5, covering Thursday and Friday. So if that sounds like your fancy, if you fancy a race every weekday, then look no further than the channel here. Make sure you give it a subscribe and hit the notification bell if you so are inclined. But James, it comes to that point in the stream where we have to give you a prediction, and if we look at yesterday's prediction, it didn't go so well. So let's hope this prediction goes a little bit better.
I'll wait for the grid to come up first before I make a prediction, because I do not want to get this wrong at all. No, I think I said the STV driver would win last time out. I got that right at least. Don't think I got the rest of the prediction right, but if you want to hear a top 3, here we go. I'm going to go Oscar Marino for the win, Slayer for second, and Connor for third.
So, only one of the top 3 that have qualified there. James is predicting that will finish on the podium. Maybe you have a different opinion. Leave it in the comments down below. Who do you think your top 3 in the race is going to be? Can Slayer convert this into a race win? Castro has just been sent straight to the grid there. He's starting on the medium tyres, and of course the top 10, if you don't already know, have to start on the tyre they set their fastest lap in qualifying. So Slayer and Coutinho rounding off the top 10, start and end of the top 10 there. Chapelele then in 11th place will get to start on a fresh set of medium tyres. All around him then Lewis, Thomas, Ginger, Bjorn, Gongora and Jonas all starting on the mediums. Chris Rock and Dantas, the 2 GTZ cars, they're starting on the hard tyres, so they're looking to extend their stint very early on in this one and try and get some fresher, faster rubber through the ending stints here. But yes, we have a lot of action waiting for us. We have 28 laps of it, so hold on to your hats. Hold on to everything you have, because although this track is narrow, it does serve up some very, very heavy braking opportunities, some good overtaking opportunities, especially going in towards turn 11 with that huge amount of DRS you get. But James, you've been to Vietnam before. This is my first outing here. What are you expecting here?
A lot of tyre wear in the opening stages, certainly from those guys on a set of soft compounded tyres. They can only probably last around 5, 6, 7 laps, anywhere in between there, before you see the guys pit in, and they normally go for 2-stop strategy. So inevitably they would go medium and then they would go softs. Now, you can make a 1-stop strategy work. Softs to hards is possible, but it's only possible if you go beyond lap 8 out on track. So anybody wanting to try their might and try and pick up some extra points for their team has to go above lap 8, go onto a set of hard compounded tyres, and then go to the end. Predicted pit stop strategies just came up on my end. 2-stop strategy, lap 8 to 11, lap 20 to 25 for a set of soft compounded tyres. Ignore the graphics though, I think I'm going to say.
Well, we're now lining up on the grid then. All 20 cars are here, ready to start this race. Remember, alternate point scoring system, and you have to get to the checker flag in order to score those points. Keep your wing clean, keep all 4 wheels on the wagon, and you've got yourself some points for the team. Consistency is key here, but we now wait for the signal to start this race here in Vietnam, and we can only do that through those red lights as they turn on now. It is 5 red lights. We're underway in Hanoi. What are the starts like? It's a good start from Slayer. Good start as well from Slayer in the background. But we've already got a car there that lost the back end. Just about collected it up as we now file our way in towards turn 1 and now going through turn 2. That looks like that's Amazing Hour is in trouble because Oscar Marino has gone up the inside and takes away second place. Going through we go. Through 3 and through 4. The 2 Mentalism cars coming together. Going through turn 4. And one of them had to cut across the track. No doubt that's going to be a little bit of a corner cut. There. We've got yellow flags in sector 1, but that doesn't look like anybody's been caught up just yet. One of the green CGT cars is looking for a move down the inside there, and a virtual safety car has been deployed at the very start of this race, and I'm struggling to see why. I don't think there was anybody there. Maybe there was a...
I think it might have been for Lewis, actually. I think Lewis might have left side end plate damage, if I'm not mistaken. He looked like he had a bit of a spin. He does. He has left side end plate damage. So it is Lewis that has caused a VSC, I think.
Well, VSC has been deployed, but of course, that still means that all the cars here are going to be keeping to their delta. There's no physical safety car just yet, so all the drivers have to keep to a set delta, and they will have to keep to that delta until the safety car ends, or at least the virtual safety car ends. And it looks like we're back under green flag racing straight away. So Slayer here, it's all about the luck when that VSC does end, whether you're halfway through the corner or braking for it. It really can compromise your exit. It can cause a little bit of sparks here, as we see Oscar Marino. He had a fantastic start though. He's now up to second place for the S2V team. Amazing Hour down to third place, and Bjorn, he's now clattered the wall and has got, well, basically a T-tray on the front of that car now. He'll have to dive into the pit lane. We've also got a couple of cars into the pit as well. We've got the likes of, I think that's Thomas, Chris Rock, Lewis and Bjorn all coming into the pit lane for their pit stop, assuming to fix some damage. But it is Slayer who leads the way. Don't be fooled. It's the second lap of this race with Oscar Marino in second.
Amazing Hour. Literally needed lost it coming through turn 2. I just looked on board with the back of Oscar Marino, and he nearly lost it coming through turn 2. Very close to the wall, but luckily he's still going. Got Louis actually fighting for third position. What it is actually out on track. It's not. No, actually it is for third position out on track. Louis on the back of Amazing Hour. He's looking to try and get close. He's got his teammate in behind for Team Mentalism, Kaz. Connor got a bad start as well. It was actually Connor the one that cut across coming through turn 3 and 4. He was fighting with Kaz in that battle.
Yeah, and it's such a long way down that back straight, down towards turn 11 as Louis there leaves his braking late, almost collecting the back of Amazing Hour there, but managing to keep the anchors on there and just stop that car when he needed to. So TTG lead the way then in the form of Slayer, with Oscar Marino in second place, Amazing Hour in third. Then it's the two Mentalism cars of Louis and Kaz in fourth and fifth, Connor in sixth, Yopa in seventh, Kagino from 10th place moves up to 8th, Adair is in ninth, Chapalele in 10th. Mickey has fallen behind Chapalele, who's on the medium tyres, by the way, so that's a great move for Chapalele. He's ahead of a soft tyre runner. Ginger in 12th with Yonis in 13th, Dantas 14th there. He's done well at the start on those hard tyres. Gongora in 15th, Castro in 16th, Thomas, Lewis, Chris Rock and Bjorn have all made stops to rectify the damage they have received. DRS is now online, and the first time these drivers will be able to use it is down this straight coming up. So Louis here is trying all his might to get that section right, going through turns 2 and 3. Amazing Hour getting a big amount of oversteer there, going through turn 5, and he's able to just about keep it up, but he's got that DRS, so he should be okay for now. But what follows now is we should turn our attention to the lead of this race. The one place you don't want to be is the car without DRS heading through turns 10 and on towards turn 11. It is such a long time that DRS stays open for. Will Oscar Marino get himself an opportunity here? He's into the slipstream. He's got that DRS open. Surely at this point you're thinking, I'm going to try and move down the inside. You can see there's Slayer covering the inside line very early on, making his intentions clear, and the lead of the race doesn't change. However, the position for third place does change. Louis gets past Amazing Hour there, and if you're watching on board with my stream, you completely missed it. But Louis now moves up into third place.
Yeah, quite an easy move actually. Amazing Hour looked like he got a bad run coming out to turn 8, I think it was. And obviously down the straight, Louis just cream crackled him pretty much down the inside line and is up into third position. Amazing Hour dropping the fourth. But now he's stuck in a bit of a team mentalism sandwich, as I like to call it, with Kaz in fifth, Connor in behind and sixth. Yorpa's made up good ground as well. He's up from 9th on the grid up to 7th. Most positions gains, by the way. Chionis from 18th on the grid. He's up to 13th out on track. Yeah,
good start for Jonas there. Currently 13th, as you rightfully said. Louis gets the fastest lap of the race, a 37.5. Yellow flags in sector 2. And it is Chris Rock there who has unfortunately had a little bit of a moment there. He now gets himself up and running again. But is there any damage to that car? I can't see any damage to the front wing there. So it looks like whatever happened, he's got away with at least a little bit of damage. Just his pride might not be just as intact as it was heading in towards turn 11. Riding on board with Amazing Hour then as he's looking to try and chase down Louis, but once again you just have to turn your attention to the lead of this race because Oscar Marino is right behind here. You've also got the other S2V car of Yorpa hounding and harrying the back of CPI Connor. Meanwhile then Marino is in that slipstream once again. He's closer to Slayer than he was, marginally closer for sure. He's got the DRS open this time. Slayer once again tries to defend the inside line, but here comes Marino then. He's going to have to go the long way round in towards turn 11, but he's got the move done there even before the braking zone, and Marino now moves into the lead of this race. But with that DRS zone, as long as you stay within around 4 or 5 tenths of a second on the entrance of that straight, you've got a good chance of making an overtake down towards 11.
Yeah, I've even seen drop. Oh,
sorry, that was a
Mickey and Chapalele.
It was. They made contact there, and Chapalele has hit the wall hard. He's got a bit of end plate damage as well, so he'll have to come back to the pit to get that nose changed. Meanwhile, then Amazing Hour, where he's right on the back of Louis.
Yeah, Amazing Hour is on the back of Louis, but they're stuck in a bit of a DRS train now. The top 9 are actually stuck in a DRS train as Kaz just falls out of it, actually. But all of these guys, with Oscar Marino now setting the new fastest lap of the race, they're just going to stay within that DRS range. Normally there's no overtaking around here when there's a DRS train. But trust me when I say this, there will be eventually. There will be eventually.
Absolutely, and Hopper here is right on the back of Connor. Of course, we all know S2V, they are really prolific in Spain. They're a fantastic team to have in this league and in this Esports Masters League. And they went in there hot favourites They've already got a driver win under their name. They're third place in the standings right now. Still a very long way to go in this championship. But here comes Horper then, as he now tries to get on the back of Connor then, making our way through turn 8, now through turn 9. A little bit of a snap of oversteer there from Horper in the S2V car. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, the top 4 are now running away from Kaz in 5th place. Is there a chance for anyone behind to have a move? I don't think so. Slayer seems to be losing ground on Oscar
Connor.
Marino. And here comes Connor then, as we make our way in towards turn 11. And that is Connor who's got the move done, but he runs deep in towards 11. They're locking wheels then through turn 12. Not ideal, as we now make our way on towards turn 13. Kaz is on the outside here. He's trying to make the turn-in angle for Connor as shallow as possible. No way through, though, for Kaz. And Connor takes that position away, and Connor in the CPI car now up to 5th.
Yeah, he just used up a tiny bit of DRS actually running down, or ERS I should say, running down towards turn 13 out on track. So a very good move there by Connor to get through on Kaz. Just concerned actually from Team Mentalism's point of view about that ERS usage. 13% for Louis, 13% for Kaz. They are lower than the guys around them, so they've got to be careful. Yorko's right on the back of Kaz. He's not going to go for the move, though, for 6th position out on track. Oscar Marino, though, beginning to dominate, I think, out in front. 7/10 a second, keeping it nice and consistent. That's what he wants to do if he wants to keep that lead.
Yes, that's exactly what you need to do. As you can see, Horper here is looking to try and get onto the back of Kaz then, but with that DRS he's going to find it that little bit difficult as we head to the braking zone now of turn 6. And through 6 and 7 here you can really attack those curbs to try and minimise the time lost. Horper here through turn 8, it's a bit of an interesting one. You'll see some drivers try and stay tight to the inside line in order to get the drive, but others will stay wide and try and get an overall better drive down the start-finish straight. We've got 2 battles going on here, one for the lead of the race and one for 3rd place. Here comes Slayer then down the inside in towards turn 11. Meanwhile, behind them, Louis has gone round the outside of Amazing Hour, and now Louis goes up into 3rd place. Lead has changed, but Kaz looks like he's in trouble.
In the wall. Yeah, completely outbroke himself, I think. He was getting under attack, I think, from Connor, and Kaz has just gone completely straight on into the wall. Right side end plate damage. That is the end of his chance for a potential podium.
So unfortunate, but of course never rule anything out in this Esports Masters League. We've already seen that anything can happen just in race 1 alone. But Slayer here now in the lead of this race, and Marino gets it at 22, just a little bit wrong on entry. Had to really lock up the brakes there in order to stop the car as he now makes way on towards the start finish straight. Looks like that's Kaz into the pits then, obviously to repair that damage he has now unfortunately had. And that will just throw a spanner into the works. He might try a little bit of a different strategy going into the rest of this race here. I wonder if he goes onto a set of hard tyres and just tries to get them to the end of this race then. Meanwhile, we're on lap number 7. Slayer leads the way for TTG. It's the S2V car of Oscar Marino in 2nd place, and it's the Mentalism car of Louis who rounds out the top 3 so far. But as you can see here, the one person you don't want to be here in Vietnam is the race leader when it's not the final lap.
Yeah, Slayer unfortunately is in this position where he's going to maybe get overtaken by everyone at this point within the race, because Oscar Marino, Louis, Amazing Hour, and Connor's just trying to latch back onto the back of this top 4. Oscar Marino, though, I think is going to try and have a go, but Slayer using up a little bit of overtake mode down the straight, in fact using up the whole of his overtake mode to try and fend off the attention. Here comes Oscar Marino, though, round the outside and towards turn 11. Can he get the move done on the brakes? I don't think he's going to get the move done. But no, Slayer holds in position. The Italian man out in front. The Spaniard cannot find a way through. Louis in 3rd. Amazing Hour in 4th. So it's as we were.
Yeah, great defensive move from Slayer there, but unfortunately, as you said, he's now used up his ERS battery, so he's now got to go through an entire lap of saving it again, which means he doesn't have the ERS battery to get away from anybody in the rest of the track. So he's going to find it really tough there to stay ahead of Oscar Marino as they all now file their way through. And as you can see here, Slayer has come into the pits then. So on lap number 7, he's now in the pits and ready to make his first stop of this race.
Yeah, pit window open as well for those soft runners, just running both Amazing Hour coming down the straight. Lap 8 to lap 11, set of medium compound tyres. Pit window is now open to Slayer, and York has actually gone for what I said earlier on. Lap 6, lap 7 will be the first pit stop strategy, I think, for the soft tyres. They've gone for that. The rest of these guys are going to commit at least another lap. But if they want to get a one-stop strategy to the end, they've got to go beyond lap 8, lap 9, lap 10.
Yes, and Slayer there has rejoined on a set of hard tyres. It's a very awkward pit lane entry and a very awkward pit lane exit, because with the exit you really come out full pelt in through turn 2, and it can catch you out if you're not careful. It can catch out other drivers as well if they're not careful as well. Marino then leads the way with Louis in second. Amazing Hour rounding out the top 3, but of course pit stops will soon be prevalent. How will that change up the order? Louis looking for a move down the inside, but he's just way too far back. Oh, big lock up there from Amazing Hour in the Leonis car, just to keep and stop that car from overrunning in towards turn 11 and 12. Meanwhile, Adair is putting some pressure on Coutinho now as we now make our way in towards the right-hander of turn 13. And Coutinho, who's really kept himself to himself. Okay, he's had a couple of incidents around him in the fact that Kaz has come into the pits after that damage. Slayer and Hopper have come in based on their stops. But for a man who started P10, he's not having a bad time out here as he dives into the pit lane.
Yep, top 3 are in as well. Oscar Marino, Louis, and Amazing Hour from first, second, and third are also into the pits. Coutinho follows suit. Adair and Mickey, I think, are staying out. So the 2 CGT drivers are staying out for an extra lap on a set of soft compound of tyres. But that really begs into question where these guys are going to go. Amazing Hour switched on to a set of mediums. That's the indicator that he'll go 2-stop. Everyone else for a set of hards. Code Manager 1-stop strategy. Slayer and Hopper have already gone through, but Oscar Marino, I think, is going to be in and around these guys. He's going to be just out in front of Yoko, I think, coming out, and he is just about out in front. I would call that about 0.3 of a second.
Well, that was very, very close between the two teammates, of course, but that is the best case scenario for Marino because he's rejoined in front of his teammate and everybody else who was around him has rejoined behind. But there you go, Hopper with the DRS gets back through, and I think that's a little bit of a strategic move there because Marino now has the DRS on Hopper and he can now try and use that little bit of DRS from his teammate, a little bit of tow down the back straight as well to make sure he's not overtaken by the likes of Louis and Amazing Hour. Speaking of Amazing Hour, he's looking for a move on Louis here. He could get this done. It's very narrow on the left-hand side. He's going to go round the outside, going in towards turn 10 and onwards now towards the braking zone. In towards turn 11, the Leonis car's got the inside line. Still they run side by side down the inside, and there's contact. Louis into the back of one of the S2V cars. That's of Oscar Marino. Meanwhile, Amazing Hour takes full advantage and now moves up into 8th place. Now, does Louis have damage to that front wing? No. I think he's got away with it.
Yeah, no damage at all, just a slight tap, a slight over brake actually from Louis on the braking point and didn't get any damage as a result. But Oscar Marino now costs a little bit more time on the back of Hopper. He's just outside of DRS range. Amazing Hour did get a move done on Louis as well. Louis really had to give up the position. And what those guys have done is actually brought Coutinho possibly into play. Coutinho has gained around 0.7 of a second as a result of the contact between Louis and Oscar Marino.
So we make our way now in towards lap number 10. Connor still leads from Adair and Mickey. Ginger in 4th place, but they are all yet to stop. It is Slayer who's re-emerged on the hard tyres. That is leader of the stopped runners so far. Hopper then on the medium tyres. Well, we think he's 2-stopping at the moment, so this move on Slayer is critical. He needs to get this move done and try and build the gap to the cars behind. This is going to be crucial, especially he's on that 2-stop strategy. He's going to try and find this move down the start-finish straight, or sorry, down the back straight. Slayer obviously has no DRS ahead of him, so Hopper here looks like he's going to get into that slipstream, open up the DRS, and wave Slayer as he finds his way through. Let's have a look, see. He'll look to the left-hand side, and you can see their Slayer's not really that interested in battling. I'll tell you who is interested in battling though. Hopper is now past Amazing Hour going in towards turn 11 and Hopper gets the move done. He is now back past the oh sorry, that's of Slayer. I knew you were waiting in the wings to correct me there, but yes, he's now past the TTG car of Slayer. Amazing Hour is still in 7th place, but he's being hounded by another S2V car in Oscar Marino.
Yeah, actually, Amazing Now we've got the move done on Oscar Marino, so he's now through and he's up into 7th position. Got the move done down the straight into turn 11 under the brakes. Oscar Marino now down into 8th. Adair and Mickey, interestingly, both CDG drivers are in, and Connor has left the session. He's been plagued with another disconnect.
Oh, that's so unfortunate there for Connor. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin this great race we're having so far. Meanwhile then, Hopper has now caught up to the back of Ginger, who hasn't stopped in this race yet. he's looking, I'm thinking, for that one-stop strategy. Is there a potential to go onto the hard tyres late on into this race? Let's have a wait and see. Meanwhile, Hopper here is right on the back of Ginger. This one has got move easy written all over it. You can see there. I don't think Ginger put up too much of a fight then, and Hopper now moves up into second place.
Yeah, simple as you like move for Hopper. The graphics are showing as him being 1700 to the second behind Connor. That is not true. Connor is miles ahead out of him in front. He can still try and go, but now Ginger's going to come under attack from Slayer, and this is already looking like a job done. We could potentially get 3 wide with Amazing Hour as well. Running him behind, I think he's going to have no part to do with this. Slayer is struggling with the ERS. He's trying to get past Slayer, past Ginger, I should say. Down the inside line he goes, Slayer, and he has got the move done eventually. Didn't use up any ERS whatsoever, any overtake hold. He didn't need it in the end. He's doing his own Ginger for third position. Amazing Hour still on the back of it.
Yeah, and when you don't need to use your ERS battery, that is a plus in itself, as you can save that and use it later on when you really need it. Ginger then still on those medium tyres. Looks like he's run a little bit wide through 20, then through 21, and that's a attempted move around the outside there from Amazing Hour. Took full advantage of that and now gets up a position there. Yellow flags in Sector 2 looking out there, and there's a virtual safety car that's been deployed for the second time this race.
Yeah, I think it might have been for Shakaleli, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
Shakaleli, yeah, no front wing.
Yeah, so that will be why. So the marshals will be clearing up that debris. That's what the virtual safety car has been used for. So meanwhile then, Gongora, who's actually in control of his car, takes advantage of this virtual safety car, comes into the pit lane. Giannis as well, thinking the same. Lewis is also coming into the pit lane, trying to take advantage of this virtual safety car to try and pit in. Now, you don't get the same advantage as you do if you pitted under a physical safety car, but there is time to gain then, anywhere between 10 and 15 seconds, depending on how long it happens for. But as you can see, it's a very quick, very sharp virtual safety car. We're back under green flag racing then on lap 12 here in Vietnam. Louis, meanwhile, knows that this move on Ginger has to be done. Down the back straight, into the slipstream he will go, and at some point, down this straight, he will have that DRS as Chapalele's retired from the session. Meanwhile, Louis there really playing it fine there, but he gets that move done, and even with that less rear aero that he had on the car, still chucked it here. Marino here looking for a move up the inside. He thought about it, backed off, then thought about it again, and he's now up the inside, gets that move done, and moves now up into 5th place. Ginger, who's on those worn medium tyres, starting to fall back through the field.
And it's all up to Ginger now for FRL to score as many points as possible, because Shakaleli has retired, which means the 3 points that he would have got now no longer exist because he's retired out of the race. Chris Rock is the last driver, now going in 19th position, as he's just overtaken Shakaleli, who retired in the pit lane. But what the VSC actually did was bring these guys closer together. Slayer actually got caught a little bit wide coming through turn 22. Had Amazing Hour right all over the back of him. But now this is the time, really, to play a little bit of a patience card, I think, out on track. When nearly through halfway, these guys have got to get into the rhythm. The Slayer fully hops over the curb. Amazing Hour is right on the back.
Yes, absolutely. And we're almost halfway through this race. If you thought the first half of this race was good, watch out for the second half of this one as well. Amazing Hour looking to try and find a way past Slayer, but he's lost a little bit of ground in him as we head now up towards turn 6. Great camera angle here from the helicopter as we watch Amazing Hour tackle turn 6 and 7. Then you go through that roundabout of turn 8. It's a left-hander that just seems to go on forever. You've got to hold on there as all you might through turn 9 and then onwards now towards that back straight. You get to say hello to everybody who's yet to tackle turn 6. Amazing Hour then down the back straight. He gets that DRS open, does he? No, he doesn't. No DRS then for Amazing Hour, which is a little bit bizarre. Oh, there it is. There's the DRS. It's a little bit later down the straight than I thought. Marino here looking for a move up the inside of the Mentalism car of Louis, down in towards turn 11. A little bit of a lock up there, and he's got too deep. You're absolutely right, James. He has to take to that curve and that little bit of an escape road. A little bit ambitious there, and just a little bit too late on the brakes from Marino there.
Yeah, it's a shame he had that move actually quite signed, sealed and delivered, but Louis managed to get it on a much better, tighter line and a much better angle coming through the corner. He managed to get the move done, and look at him, he's pulling away and trying to break that DRS toll now. Oscar Marino, who gets caught on the curb and is now out of that DRS train. Amazing now all of the back of Slayer, and goodness me, he is really giving this the beans, but are we going to see these guys pit in for a set of soft compounded tyres around lap 22 out on track? I think we might. These guys, Yorpa, Amazing Hour, Adair, possibly could get to the end. Mickey definitely will get to the end, I think. But those guys on the center medians have got to be careful. They don't want to wear the tyres too much. Safety car could change everything.
It could change everything. You're absolutely right. There is a man on a mission out there, and it is Amazing Hour. He's already pulled off one fantastic move. It was a little bit impromptu, but impromptu moves like that are very, very welcomed indeed. And he is the leading Leonis car right now as he now makes his way through turn 8, now through turn 9. He's right on the back of Slayer. This could be an attempt here for second place on the board. Hopper leads the way from Slayer and Amazing Hour, but how long will second and third place stay like that in that order? Slayer has a little bit of DRS to help him defend, but Amazing Hour's got the toe then. Slayer looking to try and defend the inside line as much as he possibly can down towards turn 11, but it's no use. Amazing Hour had the better line, had the better racing line, and gets the move done then. So the Leonis car moves up into second place, Slayer down to third, but we've already seen in this race how quickly those positions can chop and change. Ginger, meanwhile, going side by side with Adair, going in towards turn 12. Adair looked like he got the better traction on the exit and manages to hold on to the position.
I think Adair actually was the one that ran too deep, and Ginger undercut him down the inside. Then Adair undercut him back because Ginger ran out wide, and Adair now threw up the 6th position. Surely he will begin to pull away. Caginio is at the failing, really, of Ginger just in front of him. He's on 13-lap old mediums. Caginio on 8-lap old hards, and he's gone into 5-lap old hards, and he's gone into the back of him. Coming through turn 22, very close to contact. That was a shocking camera angle from my perspective, but it looks like he goes for a move down into turn 1, which is never really an overtaking opportunity, and he goes into the back of Ginger again. Caginio just got to be patient.
He's got to be patient, especially around a track like this. Oscar Marino, meanwhile, looking tentatively at the back of Louis here. He knows he has to get these moves done because the next 2 cars ahead of him, he is definitely racing for sure, both on the hard tyres. Hopper and Amazing Hour. We'll have to wait and see if they come into the pits for a potential second stop. We think they will, but there's a reason we're in the commentary box, James, that is for sure. Louis, meanwhile, will have a perfect opportunity because Slayer doesn't have any DRS to defend with whatsoever. Louis will.
Amazing Hour's right on the back of Yorpa as well. He's got no ERS remaining. Trying to go around the outside for Hopper to the lead of the race. Trying to go around the outside. Can he get the switch back, I wonder? He will use up his ERS, I think, on exit. They've got Chris Rock, a driver just ahead of him, out on track. Caginio's right on the back of Ginger as well, coming down in towards turn 12. And I think it looks like Caginio has got that move done. So patience is the virtue. He is through up to 7th as well.
Yeah, and Ginger got a massive tank slapper on the exit of turn 12 there, just trying to keep that car in check. He's lost out big time then. Caginio up to 7th place on those hard tyres and looking to go to the end of this race. Amazing Hour there, really being aggressive with those curbs, almost putting it into the wall there, almost kissing that wall on his way through, as the 2 medium runners know they have to keep going. They have to work together if they want to get away from the 3 cars behind them. We think they still have one more stop to go in their strategies. Meanwhile, Slayer, Louis and Marino, we're thinking they're going to the end of this race then.
Yeah, I think the guys on the set are hard are committed to go into the set of onto the end of this race. Hopper and Amazing Hour are beginning to pull out a gap, but it's not because these guys are too consistent, I think. It's because these guys have actually got Chris Rock just in around them. Oscar Marino and Louis are going side by side. They're down in towards turn 6, trying to go round the outside. Oscar Marino, brilliant stuff. Parks it over the apex, putting up the curb. Louis going to try and have a go at him. Through into the roundabout for Oscar Marino. Pulls up the best move of the race so far. He's up into 4th.
Yeah, we've got now that battle between Hopper and Amazing Hour. I think Amazing Hour is just a little bit too far back. But watch out for Louis here, because now he has got DRS. Marino does not. And there goes Louis. He says, you know that great move you made? Well, here's me flying back past you and undoing everything there. So Louis now back up into 4th place. And Marino, after all that hard work, after all that hard battling going through the roundabout, is now finds himself back to square one. Mickey, meanwhile, is looking for a move past Ginger, and he's got that done. So Mickey now up into 8th place. I have to say, the CGT cars, they've been a little bit of a dark horses at the moment. Yes, they're on the medium tyres, but they're having a good race so far. If they can keep that momentum up, potentially for their 3rd stint, they could find themselves well up the order in the midfield. Yeah,
and I believe CGT obviously were a Sombic.
They were, yes.
As well. If I'm not mistaken, the Sombic finished 4th in terms of the team standings. They were 4th coming into tonight on 24 points. Both their drivers, with Ginger now coming into pit lane from 9th position, both of those guys, with them running in 6th and 8th, they're going to be quite consistent, but watch out for Kaz. He's on a set of hard competitive tyres for Team Mentalism. I think in terms of overall teams, Team Mentalism seem to be in a stronger position compared to the guys ahead. Hopper might have to pit in as well for STV, but watch out for Team Mentalism to the end of the race, because both of their guys are committed to the end.
Well, I've just had a look in the YouTube chat, and hello everybody. We just had a report from our very own Ted Kravitz in Gomi, who's correctly said that Slayer has front wing damage. So that's why he's struggling so much out there. Yes, he does. He has end plate damage. Yeah. So great spot there from Gomi in the chat.
Oh! Amazing now, nearly lagged into the back of Hopper going down the straight. Could still get the move done actually down in towards turn 11, but a bit of a lag back there. Forces Amazing Hour to really be cut short. I'm not sure actually if Hopper might have came across to defend. Might have to look at the stewards for that one.
Well, we're riding on board with Louis here, who now we know that Slayer has that front wing damage. Might just have that implication there that he needs to get this move done, because there's no way Slayer's going to come into the pits now. He's too far into this race. He's on the medium tyres. He's not going to pit in. It's as simple as that. If there's a safety car, then yes, he probably will. Hopper then into the pits then. 8 laps on those medium tyres. That's all he's done. An Amazing Hour then will take over the lead of this race. And the message from his team will be, the car behind you has front wing damage. Push like hell.
Push like hell indeed, and Louis is right on the back of Slayer running down the straight. Slayer actually being helped out by Chris Rock. Louis nearly into the back coming down into towards turn 1. That was very late on the break. Oscar Marino looks like he's going to the end of this race as well on a set of hard compounded tyres. So Team S2V have now decided to change strategy with Hopper, as I rightly said, with the tyre strategy around here. He is on for a set of soft compounded tyres, comes out ahead of Kaz. Clear air in front of him. He can now put the hammer down. He's got Mickey 9/10 ahead. DRS all ready for him. Going to be quite easy pickings, I think. But Louis is trying to go down the inside of Slayer, down the roundabout through turn 8. They turn in. Lewis has retired, I think, coming out into the pit lane. But Louis tried to go for the gap, wasn't there, and Oscar Marino's on the back.
Yeah, I don't think Louis will be too happy with that one. He wanted that inside line, but the door was closing, and Oscar Marino here is looking to try and take advantage. But look at Louis. He just used that overtake button and got straight back on it. Oscar Marino, is he looking for a move down towards turn 11? I think he tried to sort of lull Louis into defending that inside line and try and brake as late as possible. Didn't work, though, for him. And Marino, he's going to go for it here into 13. Not normally a place we see an overtake here, and I think Louis knew exactly that, because he was always going to take his normal racing line through there.
You know, I'm actually liking this from Oscar Marino, because Louis has got a ghosted car in front. Now, the ghosted car can put the driver off more than the driver in behind, who is a human car. So that might be the promise for Oscar Marino to try and go. As soon as I say that, Chris Rock gets out of the way, coming out to the final corner. So that promise has already gone. Louis now ahead of Chris Rock out on track. Hopper is ahead of Cagenio. Cagenio, interestingly, on a set of hards, into the pit lane. I wonder if he's picked up damage.
I think he must have done. He must have done. If he's pitting on the hard tyres, this will be an unscheduled stop. We'll have to see what the TTG crew will do. Yep, and it is a front wing change there. On will go a set of soft tyres, and that will be him now to try and push to the end of this race. Lap 19 here in Vietnam. We have 10 laps to go, as it is Amazing Hour who is in the lead of this race. Slayer second, Louis in third, with Oscar Marino in fourth. Adair is in fifth place. Hopper then has rejoined in sixth place, and we're pushing as hard as he possibly can. Yellow flags in sector 2, and that is one of the S2V cars. That's Oscar Marino, who was into the wall there. No damage, it looks like, but I don't think he was around anyone. Was that a genuine mistake?
I think it was a genuine mistake, or is it a tactical ploy to help Hopper out with the DRS? Hopper is only 8 tenths behind him. He got the DRS. Oscar Marino, I think, is just going to let his teammate through here, give him clear air out on track, and that's exactly what is going to happen. And Hopper now through up to 5th. He's got a mountain to climb if he wants to get onto the back of Adair, but it's only 4.4 seconds. Hopper, I think, is on for this race win.
Well, he's certainly going to go for it. If anything else, he's got Amazing Hour ahead of him, who we are expecting into the pit lane at some point. It's not going to be this lap, though, as he now makes his all the way through Cagenio, meanwhile making his move on Gongora down the back straight. And he's got that move done, heading down towards turn 11, and he needs to be on the pace.
Oh, he's on the coupe there. No, he hasn't.
Well, he needs to be on the pace, though, because this is going to be crucial. Oscar Marino into the pits then. So this was another unscheduled stop for Marino. this tells me that he did have damage on the back of that one. So maybe it turned into a strategic move, but I think it came off the back of a mistake. Let's have a look and see what the S2V crew do as he now makes way down the pit lane. And yes, it is a front wing change. So clearly then contact has been made with the wall. And so Marino finds himself down the order. That's not good news then for S2V, who obviously had one of their cars winning last time out in Australia, at least with one of the drivers. Now they're going to find themselves in a little bit of a spot of bother because other teams around them will try and take full advantage of that. One in particular will be TTG. They've got Slayer in second place. Right now we're seeing, as we see going down that back straight, and we also see Coutinho in 9th place ahead of the S2V car, but only just. I wonder how much of a fight Coutinho is going to put up here. Meanwhile, Louis, no, he doesn't try that attempt in towards turn 11 there. But I tell you what, Oscar Marino, right on the back of Coutinho on fresh soft tyres, 1 lap fresher soft tyres, as he now makes way through that roundabout and onto the back straight. 9 laps to go, 8 and a bit if you're picky. It's Amazing Hour in the lead of this race as we are watching on Coutinho and Oscar Marino battling here for 9th place in this race then, flying through now, through turn 10, onwards now towards turn 11. At some point they're going to hit the anchors here. Marino having to go the long way round in towards turn 11. Coutinho made life difficult for Marino, but no dice. Marino takes full advantage and moves now up into 9th place. Cool head on those shoulders. He's now got 6.5 seconds between himself and Ginger, and he'll try and press on as much as he possibly can.
Thomas and Castro having a good battle as well down in towards turn 11. This is for 12th and 13th, and Bjorn is on the back of Giannis. So all the battles happening now further down the field as opposed to further up the field by the looks of it, as Bjorn is now through on Giannis, and he is through and he's up into 14th position. But in terms of the team standing, CGT and Team Mentalism, I think judging by the consistency, CGT are more consistent in terms of the points as Team Mentalism, because Mentalism are 3rd and 7th, CGT 4th and 6th.
Yeah, here comes Horper, though. I don't think this bubble's going to last long for Adair in P4, because here comes Horper then. He's in that slipstream on those soft tyres and looking to try and make this move done then. Of course, he's still gaining on him with that overtake deployment, and as soon as he gets to the DRS line, turns that down and now gets up into 4th place. I don't think Adair is going to try and move down in towards turn 11, which he doesn't. So Horper now 3.8 behind Louis and Slayer. Now, according in a chat to McCrew, who's also part of the Leonis lineup, apparently Amazing Hour is on the one stop. He's looking to try and get these medium tyres to the end of this race.
Oh, I don't think that will work. I've seen it around here before, and trust me when I say this, 20 laps on a set of mediums, you're going to be buggered towards the end of the race.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Amazing Hour is amazing on his tyres. Anyway, Louis making his way now through that final corner and onwards towards the start-finish straight towards turn 1 there, but he can see in the distance in his mirrors that pink and purpled liveried S2V car of Horper, who makes his way in towards turns 1 and 2. And how much of a factor could he be in this race with 7 laps to go?
A big factor, because he is gaining around 1.2 seconds a lap on the guys ahead as they just bounced the wall on the exit of turn 4 there, now running down towards turn 6. Louis is still chasing Slayer. Slayer obviously on the one stop, Louis obviously on the one stop as well. Horper will be on the back as you see another battle.
Well, I'm seeing that battle because Slayer blocked up big time into 6th there and really went across the curbs. He really had to defend for his life there. He's struggling with that front wing. Not only does it give you less grip, but also it gives you more tyre wear because the front tyres are having to work harder to give you the same levels of grip anywhere near. Here comes Louis then for this battle for 2nd place. Slayer moves to the inside line to try and defend as much as he can in towards turn 11. He's got the inside line there, he's got the racing line, and he's taken that away. And Louis here weaving left and right, he clearly feels a foul of that one. I think Slayer though just about kept that nose ahead.
He did just about keep the nose ahead, but what Louis has got to think about is that man in behind, because Horper is now 1 second and now less than a second off the back of Louis. The more Louis gets held up by Slayer, the more it is going to bring Horper into play. And do not be surprised if I say this now, Horper will be past these two in half a lap's time.
Well, Slayer, much more confident, even with less of a front wing. So much more confident they're going through turn 23 than Louis was. Heading our way now down towards turn 1, but look at this. Horper right on the back of the mentalism car of Louis as we now make our way through that long right-hander, eventually in towards turns 3, 4, and then the right-hander of turn 5 as Louis opens his DRS here. Here comes Horper looking for the inside line going in towards turn 6, and mentalism car of Louis leaving just about enough space then. Horper's got the inside line. Can he try and make this move stick? Yes, he can, and mentalism car there of Louis has meant that he has to ride those curves. He's lost even more time having to do that as he now makes his way on towards the back straight, and Horper now sets his sights on Slayer. We'll have to try and catch up with the penalties here, James, because we've been so focused on the action, we've completely ignored race control.
I know, we'll go on board with that in just a second. Horsepower is on the back of Slayer. Could he go late, braking down into turn 11? He does, and he's into the back of him. But I don't think there's any damage on that car. Slayer just about hanging on. Horsepower is right on the back, and my prediction of him getting it done in half a lap's time nearly came true, but it didn't. Which I'm afraid to say.
How on earth does he not have any front wing damage after that one? That took a mighty whack into the back of Slayer. However, he's still on it. He's still right on the back of the TTG car as we now make our way in through 19 and 20 and through the right-hander of 21. Now going through 22 and then eventually getting us towards turn 23. Slayer trying to hold on to this position as much as he possibly can. But Horper here, look at this. He's got so much of a better run here with that DRS wide open. And that's one of the first moves we've seen in towards turn 1. And Horper now gets a hold of second place. Next gap ahead of him is 6.8 seconds.
That gap will not be 6.8 seconds. He's got to add another 3 seconds onto that as Horper, because he's got a 3-second time on the add-on track. Slayer very much hit the wall there. Now Louis is going to pick up the toe. He's now going to have retribution, I think, for what Slayer has cost him all these laps ago. And he has to give out because Louis is through and he's up into P3. Retribution for earlier on.
I think mini fist bumps in that mentalism car are on full display as he's finally got that way past. It's a bit later than he would have liked. But now, of course, here comes Slayer. Look at this. Look at this speed he's got here. Louis will try and defend this one. He's worked hard to get this position. He doesn't want to give it up now. Heading our way in towards turn 11. Slayer's got the nose ahead. Down to the inside. He's got the move done. But here comes Louis looking for a move back. Down the inside into turn 11. The TTG car leaves the space. And that's a carbon copy of what happened, except the two cars were reversed. Louis holds on to third place. And that is so crucial now. He can try and press on.
Really crucial for Louis, and now he can dispose of Slayer as if he's just joined the race, to be honest. As now, obviously, with Slayer having that front wing damage, he's going to come under pressure, actually, from Adair. Adair is only 5 tenths behind him, and look at the gap he's closed up already. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres, Slayer on a set of hard compound of tyres. You would imagine that Adair would be worse off in terms of tyre wear. Slayer is going to get a helping, though, from Connor's AI car, I should say. Down the straight, he's going to get a bit of DRS. Adair is going to get a bit of DRS as well. Gap for the lead, 5.6 seconds. The more the race goes on, the more unlikely it is for Horpath to win this one. Amazing Owl, by the way, and Louis do not have any penalties. So
they're going to be the ones to keep our eyes on here. Meanwhile, Adair is right on the back of Slayer. He needs to try and bide his time.
I'll correct myself. Louis has got a penalty. It's Slayer that hasn't got a penalty. Sorry about that.
Well, here comes Adair then, looking for a move up the inside, but backed out of it there. I thought he would have had a go there, but maybe he realised this is not the place because he's got that massive straight there as you head through turn 10 as well to try and use that ERS and DRS, and that's exactly what he saw then. A little bit of a twitch there from the car. Didn't like that amount of power being put through the rear tyres, but here comes Adair now in that slipstream. Not much ERS to deploy. Now he's got the DRS to open, and look how much he's closing in on Slayer here. Slayer moves to the inside line to try and defend it as much as he possibly can, but Adair goes around the outside here, and then luckily that's a lapped car there, one of the GTZ cars getting involved, and luckily he was a ghost car because that would have ended so badly for the two in front. Marino meanwhile gets ahead of Ginger well before the braking zone here, so Marino gets the move done. He's now up into 8th place, and any points now that he can salvage for S2V will be mighty.
Yeah, that was done through the kink at turn 10. I was right on board with that. Some off Marino disposes of Ginger quite easily. Ginger has got to worry about Cagino in behind as Adair is all over the back of Slayer. coming out of turns 22 and 23. Could see an opportunity down in towards turn 1 if he's close enough. I don't think he's going to be close enough, though. Down the inside, no, he's not. Horpat closing in on Amazing Hour. He's got to remember, he's got to pull another 3-second gap on these guys. And Adair switches to the inside, coming through turn 3. Surely not down the inside. Brilliant move, he can pull it off. And he has! Adair! Absolute impossible move. Brilliant stuff, and he's through, and he's up to 4th position. Absolutely unreal.
Absolutely. Adair took no mercy there from a front wing damage slayer. He doesn't care. Adair gets the move done. He moves up to P4. Meanwhile, Dantas there. Luckily, here's a ghost car. He's just having his own race at the moment on those soft tyres, just trying to push on as much as he can. And it's one of those things where it's really difficult to ignore a ghost car as they now make their way through. We already saw one lap ago, one of the GTZ cars really missed the braking zone for turn 11. This time around, though, Adair just lets him go and just says, you know what, you go on ahead. I'll catch up later.
Oh, and he's actually spun, GTZ Dantas. Nearly spun coming out of turn 12. And yeah, this is the opportunity, I think, for these guys to really have to concentrate, because that ghost car inevitably going to be quicker than them. He's on a set of soft compound tyres and catching Kionis quite easily indeed as well. But the ghost car can really throw you off the scent of chasing the car ahead, as well as the car behind as well, if that was the scenario. Amazing Hour, though, leads 2.5 seconds, 2 laps to go. It is impossible now, I think, for Horpat to get this race win with that 3-second time penalty to be added on. Oh. Amazing Hour, I've got to be honest, has this one in the bag.
Well, you say that will never happen, James. This is Formula 1 you're talking about. That's not an option. That's never an option. Amazing Hour leading by just over 2 seconds ahead of Horpa here. Louis in 3rd place with Adair in 4th. Actually, CGT looks like they're going to be the top scoring team so far if it ends up like this, as they look to try and get those medium tyres to the end of the race. I wonder here if there's a chance for Mickey to have his involvement. Yellow flags in sector 2, and that's Castro who's around at turn 12. He gets the car moving again, but he's got a bit of front wing damage on the left-hand side of that car. That's going to be 14th place here in doubt, because Giannis is 24 seconds behind on those hard tyres. That could be 1 point fewer for the Friends Cup team.
Keep going, I would say to Castro. Keep going. Jonas is 18 seconds behind. He's not going to lose 18 seconds in 2 laps with that front wing damage. No way at all.
So then we're on to this penultimate lap. We're halfway through. We're more than halfway through that penultimate lap here as Horpa deals with the back markers as we now make our way through in towards turn 20 and then in towards 21. Amazing Hour here is under threat, but he knows he's got that 3-second advantage in terms of a penalty for Horpa. The only thing he needs to do now is keep it between the white lines. Amazing Hour then starts the final lap of this race. Could this be a first race win here in Esports Masters League for Leonis Racing? They have been waiting a long time for this one, and if they can get one over their rivals on S2V, they can pretty much consider themselves a part of this title fight. Looking at the other driver on the Leonis team, I believe it is Bjorn, who is down there in 13th place. Unfortunately for him, he's not had the greatest day in the office. However, we have a long season up ahead of us, and to get a race win under your belt will certainly give you that really good upper hand. But look at Horpa here. He's all over the back of that Leonis sports car as we now make our way through turn 8 onwards now towards turn 9, riding aboard with the S2V car as they make their way now down that back straight. Of course, remember, Horpa has 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Amazing Hour has nothing at all. Even if Horpa gets past and gets 2.9 seconds ahead, it will not matter. Amazing Hour knows that. He doesn't defend that one. Going in towards turn 11, he says to Horpa, you can have that one for now. Horpa runs deep, though, in towards turn number 11. Manages to gather it up, though. Bit of a tank slapper on the exit of 12. He's really pushing that car as much as he possibly can. He's got to find 3 seconds in one sector. It's just not going to happen unless Amazing Hour has a huge moment here. Horpa leads the way, though, in this closing stages. He got the move done, and without that 3-second time penalty, that would have been a strategy to remember. And he now makes his way through 21, onwards then towards turn 22, and eventually around turn 23. Horpa is going to come across the line to take the checkered flag first, but the race win belongs to Leonis, an Amazing Hour who crosses the line to take the race win. A fantastic performance there from Amazing Hour. He got the one stop absolutely spot on there. The medium tyres, we all doubted it, but he didn't. He never doubted it. 20 laps on the medium tyres has got him to the end of the race in the lead. Hopper finishes in second place. Louis in third, with Slayer with that front wing damage ending up in fourth place. A great day at the office for CGT. Adair and Mickey, 5th and 6th place. A fantastic points haul for them. Kaz finishes across the line in 7th place. Oscar Marino recovers to 8th place. Ginger in 9th place then. Kagino taps the wall on the exit of 23. He won't care though. He comes across the line to take 10th place there. Gongora across the line for the Friends Cup team. He now goes up to 10th place through penalties there. Kagino down to 11th. Thomas across the line. He will finish in 12th place. The other Leonis car then in Bjorn unfortunately didn't have the greatest day in the office today, but he will get valuable points for the Leonis team, where you've got to have that consistency, and if you get to the checker flag even after the worst race in the world, you still get points for your team. That is critical and gets us going here. Bjorn then making his way through that final corner, short shifting all the way then towards that checker flag. He will get 13th place. That's points on the board then for him. And Castro, the final one on the lead lap, I do believe, has got a big amount of front wing damage there on the left hand side. Will cruise his way, limp his way home to P14. As long as he has all of those four wheels on his wagon and sees the checkered flag, he will take those points for Friends Cup team. But your race winner today, taking his first race win of the season and Leonis' first race win of the season, it is Amazing Hour with an amazing performance. And there's your driver of the day. Simply put, Hopper made the 2-stop work, and if it wasn't for the 3-stop penalty, today could have been his day. But with that 3-second penalty, it's not. It's Amazing Hours day, and he takes his place on the top step of the podium here. A thoroughly deserved victory from the Leonis driver, and he puts big points on the board for his team.
I have to credit the LR strategy as well. Amazing Hour drove that race professionally, cleanly, and more importantly, had the mental advantage over Hopper. Hopper obviously knew he wasn't going to get to the end, and Amazing Hour has drove the socks off that race.
Well, what a fantastic race we had there in Vietnam. And here are your official, unofficial results of round number 2 of Esports Mini League. It is Amazing Hour who takes the race win ahead of Hopper in second place, who did grab the fast lap of the race at the end there, a 35.7. Louis for Mentalism in third place there, with Slayer ending up in fourth place with that front wing damage. Adair and Mickey in the CGT cars, 5th and 6th. Great performance from them both. Kaz finishing in 7th. Oscar Marino recovering to 8th place after that front wing damage. Ginger finishing in 9th place with a whole host of penalties added to his name. Gongora in 10th, Kugino in 11th, Thomas 12th, Bjorn in 13th, Castro 14th, Yonis in 15th, Dantas in 16th, Connor there finishing as a ghost car, wasn't in control of his car, therefore his points will not count. Chris Rock though did get to the checkered flag and took it as a solid driver, if you like. He'll grab 18th place. Lewis and Chapalele not finishing the race, no points scored for their respective teams for those positions. But I have to say, James, we're only 2 rounds in, and we've got ourselves a fantastic championship battle.
It is brilliant, and we're only beginning to heat up, I think. Obviously, we're through Australia and Vietnam, and I don't know where we go next, to be honest, in the calendar.
James.
I'll have that.
James, you don't know the calendar?
Zandvoort?
Oh, you don't know the calendar? It is indeed Zandvoort. You guessed right.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely. And Premier Division will be at 8:30 UK time for the Dutch Grand Prix. But I have to say as well, a big thank you to everybody watching along with us. Almost 50 viewers in that one stream alone at one point. So thank you very much. Hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's action, and hopefully we will see you next time around. We will, of course, bring you all the updates over on the Twitter page, which you can follow, which hopefully should be on your screen now. Go follow the league, and the results will be up in the next couple of days once the stewards have decided that all is well. Don't forget, on League Racing TV, our next lineup here is going to be the remainders of TT Masters League Division 2 and 3 tomorrow night, with Division 4 and 5 on Friday as well. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell, because if there's a weekday, we're racing. It's as simple as that. But James, I'm going to leave you with the final thoughts on what has been a thoroughly enjoyable Vietnamese Grand Prix.
Yeah, really enjoyable race, and congratulations to the top 3, to Amazing Hour, to Hopper, and of course I forgot who's on the third place either. My mind has gone blank completely. But well done to all three teams, I think, get onto the top split of the podium. Amazing hour in the comment section there as well. Very good race. GG to Hope. I'm very close there mid-race. Fantastic drive from everyone, and we do it all over again in a month's time in Zandvoort.
And hopefully you'll be joining us then. Until then, thank you very much for watching. And in these crazy and unpredictable times, please take care of yourselves out there and stay safe. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves out there, and we will see you next time.
So desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. The